What's up, everybody? Noah Kisser back here for a brand new video for you guys today. We got 3 coming out today. I'm talking about all the newest releases that I saw this past weekend. So let's get into the 3 of them. We have Monster Hunter, which I saw in theaters. It came out in December. My theater just got it now. One, because there's not a lot coming out, so they needed something to show. We also have the 2 new Hallmark Channel original movies, or the Hallmark original movies. One is Hallmark Channel, one is Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. Hallmark Channel is Mix Up in the Mediterranean with Jeremy Jordan. The other one is Alison Sweeney in Chronicle Mysteries Helped to Death. So let's get into Monster Hunter. This is a film starring Milla Jovovich as Lieutenant Artemis. And when her and her loyal soldiers are transported to a new world, they engage in a desperate battle for survival against enormous enemies with incredible powers. This feature film is based on the video game by Capcom. This stars Milla Jovovich, who is again directed by her real-life husband, Paul W.S. Anderson. There are a bunch of directors that have the last name Anderson. So some people do get them a little mixed up. Let's get into what he has directed in the past, and let's look at his record, okay? So let's start back here. We have Mortal Kombat. I have not seen the Mortal Kombat movie from '95. We have Event Horizon. I've heard that's pretty decent. I've heard nothing about Soldier. Then what he's really known for is the Resident Evil movies. We know how those went. I've only seen one of them. I have only seen Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. But he did Afterlife, Retribution, and the original. He also did Alien vs. Predator. I know a lot of people hate that one, as well as Requiem. So he also did Pompeii, a movie called Origin. Is it a movie or is it a series? It says it's YouTube original. So is it a series? It's not going to show me in time, because that would just make sense. And now the damn thing is being a piece of garbage. Okay. It is a TV series on YouTube. Okay. So, this film has a stellar cast in here. T.I. is in it, Megan Good, Ron Perlman, I'm going to get into him in just a minute, Tony Jaa, and Milla Jovovich. Milla Jovovich is a interesting actress. She can do action very, very well. Tony Jaa. It's Tony Jaa. He is a master with action. He can do these in his sleep. These two are basically trying to get her back to where she has to what brought her into this world. We also got the Admiral, played by Ron Perlman, who doesn't come back into the movie until an hour and 10 minutes in. He comes in at the very, very beginning of the movie, and then he's gone for an hour and 10 minutes. And I'm like, what was his point of the character being in there? Then I found out, well, it was to sequel bait. We'll get into the sequel bait in just a little bit. Tony Jaa does not need this many cuts for his action scenes. The problem with Paul W.S. Anderson's movies is that he doesn't know how to edit action. It's so many different cuts and edits that it just gets boring and tiring. It is like me taking a video just like this and going, just cutting and pausing and pausing and pausing, using different cuts. Just going, hello. Hello. Oh, no. This is just how Paul W.S. Anderson does the movie. He can do other films, but I believe that he likes doing these films because he gets to collaborate with his wife, which is always nice. It's a husband and wife working together. I know a lot of actors and directors like doing it, but some of them don't, because it could get in the way of their relationship, their marriage, something like that. T.I. isn't in this whole film a whole lot. You will find out pretty early on in the movie that it is pretty much just Artemis and Hunter throughout the majority of the movie, fighting these monsters, which for the most part are spider-like. So if you're a fan of the John Campea show, Aaron Cummings should not be watching this movie. If you get that reference, good on you. This film really does try a lot. Now, I'm not saying I didn't have fun. This is a very fun movie. It's a movie that I had a lot more fun with, and it actually has some good jokes in it. It's a lot more fun than the Resident Evil movie I saw, Afterlife, with the edits and the jump scares that lead to almost nothing. These jump scares actually lead to something, so they aren't worthless. What a worthless jump scare is, it's pretty much like in a horror movie, where it is just a guy standing in front of a dark window. In a darkish room with a lit window, and the sound completely drains out of the movie, and a crow hits the window. Caw-caw! Just pow! Hits the window. That's the false jump scare, because you're not supposed to be scared by anything. It's a false scare. And then the later scare is actually what you're supposed to be scared of, and the jump scare ruined it, because it is deemed worthless now. This actually has some decent jump scares in it. It's not really a horror movie. It has horror aspects. Some of these monsters will scare younger-ish children, but if your kids have played this video game series, you know what you're getting into. We do get a dragon at the very end of the film, which is giving us a sequel bait. It's pretty much like with Spider-Man 2. The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Paul Giamatti and Andrew Garfield are getting ready to go at it, and the movie got panned, didn't make a whole lot of money. Now, I don't think this is going to get a sequel, unless it's a very low-budget sequel. If this makes its budget back, I will be very, very surprised. I am, as a matter of fact, I'm going to check its box office numbers, and check the budget of the film. I'm talking about it right now. The movie does try to be a great action film. The problem is, being a great action movie does not include you using 17 different cuts of somebody, for instance, somebody going to a vending machine, pressing the A1 button, and getting a can or a bottle of Coca-Cola out. There is product placement in here, particularly from Hershey's. Why? Well, because reasons. That's the best that I have. Tony Jaa has never tasted chocolate, so Ilya Jovovich gives him a piece of chocolate, just like calm him down a little bit, and he proceeds to yell chocolate. And it kind of works, kind of. It does get funny because there's a couple callbacks to it, and it's well done. The budget for this movie was $60 million, which means it needed at least 150 to... this is not even gonna break even. This is not gonna break even at all. This is going to lose the studio money. Worldwide, it's made $25 million on a $60 million budget. That's probably how much they spent on marketing alone. So they've already lost that, plus everything else, plus the theaters intake, which takes quite a bit, actually. Domestic, it's earned $13.4 million. Internationally, in other markets, $12.4 million. So this is a just sad little box office number here, but when you have a movie like this and you're going to release it now, I think you could have pushed this until the summer, or maybe tried and sold it to like Peacock or, I don't know, Netflix, because this could have been on Netflix. But the thing is, I prefer seeing movies in theaters because, one, you get the better sound. You are seeing how it's supposed to be intended. The Irishman was supposed to be intended to be seen on the big screen, and a few lucky people did get to see it. My theater did not get it. It is like sitting down for the very first time and seeing Avengers Endgame on Blu-ray. It's not very entertaining because you're not getting the crowd. Imagine if you saw, well, tons of people did because it is the highest box office movie ever. Just imagine seeing Mjolnir come right to Captain America, right to Steve Rogers, and there's nothing. You're not popping, you're not excited because you're watching it at home for the first time. You go to the theater and you have hundreds of other people. I still remember this. The fight happens on your left. The whole crowd. There were 80-year-old elderly people in there up on their feet cheering, screaming in the theater because we heard Avengers. We heard on your left. Those 3 words on your left meant everything. Wakanda forever. Here comes Black Panther. The portals open up. Spider-Man comes out. The crowd screams. We have the ultimate line that we've waited and we were teased 1 or 2 times. Avengers Assemble. The whole entire crowd jumps up and screams. You're not going to get that by watching a movie at home. This movie was supposed to be intended to be seen on the big screen. So sitting down and watching it at home, you're not going to get the same feel. That's why you need to go to theaters and see this movie, because if you end up liking it and you end up wanting to see the sequel like I do, because I really enjoyed this movie. But from a technical aspect, with the editing, the different cuts, some of the acting, that's what brings it down a little bit. Now, what is the sequel bait? Let's just say that, does she make it back home? Let's see, this is a video game franchise. Yeah, she makes it home. She makes it back to her world, and something happens leading everybody to come into her world, and they have to go back into the new world again to try and restart everything so that everything can be safe and sound. That's what the sequel bait is, and it ends up with these 3 people, Tony Jaa, Ron Perlman, and Milla Jovovich, going up against a dragon at the beginning of the second movie that we are probably not going to get because nobody went to see this movie in theaters. Nobody went to go and see this movie in theaters, and that's the sad part. Maybe if it gets a lot more money, maybe if China's theaters open back up, maybe if England's theaters open back up, I have no clue. I would love a sequel to Monster Hunter, so I can have a fun time in the theater. We're not going to get a sequel to it. There's no way. I'm hoping that Paul W.S. Anderson learns from this movie not to do as many jump cuts and quick cuts, but he's been doing that for years and years now, so he's not going to learn. If you're a fan of the Resident Evil movies, you're going to eat this up. If you did not like them, I'm still going to say give this one a chance, because this feels a little bit different. There aren't a lot of false scares. The jump scares are actually things that are supposed to scare you. It's not like the Crow crap, and there went a remote. Monster Hunter is a very fun film. I'm going to give Monster Hunter a C+. I'm probably going to pick this up when it's like $5 on Blu-ray, $5 on DVD, and I'll end up watching it again because it is a fun movie. Stay tuned, everybody, because I will have 2 more reviews coming to you today for Mix Up in the Mediterranean, the brand new Hallmark Channel original romance movie, as well as the new Hallmark Movies and Mysteries film, Chronicle Mysteries Helped to Death.